Welcome to Bahati, talking about real issues that are affecting you as an individual. Insights about financial and personal growth, plus better relationships. And now, Bahati.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, a community of trailblazers, a community of people helpers, community of entrepreneurs, people that are minded about their personal growth. For me, it's such an honor to know that I get to serve you. And I get to be here to be the mouthpiece, God's mouthpiece, okay? Just to get you from moments of stagnation, just to get you from moments of self-doubt, just to get you from moments of compromise, to get you to moments of super growth, acceleration, ambition, productivity, and being able to do everything that we were created to do. Because I believe that we were not created to suffer, to sink, to survive, to cry. All those things are going to have to be on the journey or part of the process. We're going to cry, we're going to suffer here and there, we're going to get the setbacks here and there. But again, I believe that God created us for a place of thriving and flourishing, okay? When he says that you will be like a tree that was planted by the waterside, that bears fruit in its own season, that its leaves never go dry, that means that's the life that he has wanted for you. And when he says that, I have good plans for you, that before your body parts were woven together in the sacred places, I knew you before you were, before you were conceived. I had a good plan for you. Now that plan, even when the process contains all the tears, even when the process contains all the hurdles and everything, I believe that we were created for the super kind of life, okay? But again, it's a journey for us to get there, and that is why we get to share the things that we get to share about, okay? So today I want us to talk about stagnation. I know that I've dealt with stagnation, my fair share of stagnation in my own life, and then I have seen so many people, because I mentor a huge community of people that I have literally looked at as my children, and through the processes of growing, and can clearly see that this one has hit a plateau, and this one has hit stagnation phase, and this one has, is excelling, is thriving. They are going up, and they are committed to their growth. It doesn't mean that if you're stagnant, you're not committed to your growth. But it's a phase that every one of us, okay? I can't just be here and tell you that, oh, it's all going to be rosy and it's all going to be nice, and you're going to hit your targets after one target, and because that has not happened in my life. I have lived the realistic, vulnerable kind of life, filled with tears, filled with suffering, filled with stagnation, plateauing, but filled with getting stuck. But every single time I've asked myself, what more can I do? What better can I do? What can I do to get out of here? What can I do to avoid the procrastination? What can I do? And so I believe that we are going to learn together, especially if you're the kind that is entering a stagnation period. And when I talk about stagnation, maybe you'll ask yourself, what is stagnation? Now, stagnation is a state or a place where things are just not moving, where things are just not flowing, okay? You know how your life can flow from day to day, you have a good career, you have a good marriage, or you are on your way to growth in your career. You're like, clearly, you feel like things are working out for you, they are flowing, okay? And it might not be rosy, it might not be up there, but things are flowing. Okay, and you don't have any worry in the world. But again, there comes a time where you feel like you are stuck, where you feel like your legs are tied up, where you feel like you do not have ideas, you cannot even think, you cannot, maybe at some point you dreamt, you had these ideas, you had these dreams, and life was going on. But again, you get to a place where it is totally silent, where it is just you and your God, or you and your voices in your head, like people don't even understand you. When you go through a phase of stagnation, how you dress changes, how you speak changes, how you look changes, like you really look stuck. When you see someone that is stuck, sometimes you will tell that they are stuck, okay? So things are just not moving, and things are not flowing at all, okay? And then there is also lack of activity during stagnation. Like you have zero impact, you have zero, what should I call it, drive, okay, to go on and do things. And sometimes you don't even enjoy the things that you used to enjoy. You were enjoying certain activities, but right now even lifting your finger or your hand to do some of those activities, they invite you out, you don't want to go. There's zero activity in a stagnation place. And then there is zero growth in stagnation. I remember there's a time we talked about business, and I was talking about the phases of growth, and I was talking about definitely the launch, and I was talking about the growth, and then I was talking about growth, stagnation, and then I was talking about getting unstuck, and then, you know, getting to a place where things are really at a hyperdrive and things that are really moving. Now, for every business, just like every business goes through those phases, like you have launched and things are super growing, there's a growth phase, it's like a growth spurt. I don't know whether you've seen children, like there's a place where they get to and you just feel like you have lost like a year of their lives. I don't know whether it has happened to your children, but you look at them now and you're like, how did they grow this big? How did, like they hit a growth spurt now. That happens for every business. And then when they hit a growth spurt, you grow and grow and grow, and then there comes a time, and sometimes we are not careful or we are not vigilant enough to even know that we have gone into a stagnant phase or we have plateaued. So now we are operating like in the same way, and we are doing the same things, but we are looking for the results is what tells us that, okay, we have hit a snag. Okay, we have hit a stagnation period, and sometimes we don't know what to call it, but we have plateaued, we are stagnant, we are not moving, there is no activity, there is no, while it's so easy to compare with everyone else that is running. Businesses are growing, their careers are booming, their marriage is really working out so well, their children are quite thriving, and things are happening. But you look at yourself and you're like, okay, I think I'm alone in this zone now. If you have hit that moment, I want you to know that you're not alone. I have been there multiple times. I cannot even count the times I have been there. But I believe the stagnation comes into my life when there is another level that I must take, another drive, another gear that I must be, what should I call it? Another energy, another strength, you get it? Another gear that I must be able to engage. I believe that stagnation comes to wake me up from the kind of usual life that I have. Now, that did not go well at first. When I used to go, when I got stagnant in business, when I got stagnant in my own life, when I got stagnant in my own career, when I got stagnant in my own passion, getting stagnant, by the way, in singlehood, getting stagnant even when, I mean, you get married, and then you're asking yourself, okay, what next? And I mean, there are so many phases that are unexplainable that I have gone through. But one thing I have come to appreciate, okay, I have come to appreciate that stagnation is a language that God uses sometimes to get us to a place, or to get fed up and get to a place of saying enough is enough. I do not want to be here. I want to be in a totally different place. I want to grow, okay? And lastly, during stagnation, there is no development. Like nothing is shifting, okay? Things are just moving the way, very slow, and it's just not encouraging, and it's just not sweet, it's not nice, and sometimes we don't know what to call it, okay? But what we are talking about today is bringing that cycle of stagnation to an end in your life, so that you can get unstuck, so that you can get back to activity, not just activity, but being productive in your life and seeing tangible results in your life, be it in your career, be it in your business, be it in your passion, be it whatever it is. It could be a marriage, child upbringing, that you get to that place where there is growth now. You can clearly see, okay, we have moved from a certain phase and now we are in a totally different phase, and we are actually doing good, okay? And then one thing I discovered when I was thinking about my own kind of stagnation is I thought about this. So many people enjoyed the version of me that was stagnant. So many people enjoyed the version of me that was stagnant. Guess what? Because then they did not have competition. Not that I'm competing with anyone, but there are people who will look at you as competition. And then, I mean, they felt they wanted to be better than me. They wanted me to be low. They wanted me to be small. I will tell you for a fact, there's not a story. I will not mention the whole story, but there's a particular person that I actually knew that did not want, when they saw any kind of growth, like it was annoying to them, because then ndabuse, like my eyes are open. That means I can no longer be taken for granted. That means then I have set boundaries. That means my boundaries, no one can break them, and no one can just, you know, move in and out of my life. Then I can choose to say no to the things that I say no to. But you know, in the place of stagnation, so many of us do not even know what we want, do not even know how to get unstuck, do not even know. And so there are people who will enjoy that version of us, because I know there's people that enjoy that version of me. And when later I go to a place and said enough is enough, I don't want to live this kind of life, so many people took offense. Yeah, so many people took offense. So if one of the things that we must know, because part of what I'm sharing is what has happened in my life, is you know there are people that are going to jubilate when you get stagnant. When your business gets stagnant, when your life gets stagnant, when your marriage gets stagnant, when your career gets stagnant, there are people that will be jubilating. People will be making witchcraft prayers. People will be saying, after all, she's not any different from us. Or after all, you know, I thought that business, the way it was growing here, but now they're the same level with us. Some people just derive comfort in knowing and console themselves by seeing people that are falling and thinking that they are at the same level. Let me tell you, as in, fear a person that falls down, but they still have the courage to stand up the next day and start the journey. That get up, get the strength to say, I can bounce back. That get the strength to say, you know what, you can laugh all you want, my enemy, but don't count on the fact that I'm staying down. I am going to rise again. I am not going to stay in stagnation. I am ending this cycle, and I'm getting back to hyperactivity, not just activity, but productivity and results, and doing certain things in my life. And when I looked at this, I was actually comparing it to the story of the children of Israel when they were leaving Egypt. By the time they were leaving Egypt, that means that Egypt was a place that was no longer functional for them. And for me, Egypt represented some mindsets and ways of thinking and methodologies that were not producing the same results that they wanted. It was like a stagnant phase. And God wanted to take them. Exodus means getting out. That means they were getting out of a stagnant phase. They were getting out because they were not growing, they were not flourishing, they were not thriving. So God was promising a different land, a different Canaan that was flowing with milk and honey, that, you know, they could own, that was theirs. But here they were in slavery. How do you say you are thriving in slavery? That means during the time of slavery, that was their time of plateauing. That was the time they were building Egypt. That was the time they were, I don't know if you've watched those videos about the children of Israel and Egypt and all that. You will see how they were really, really working to build that economy, only for them to feed on breadcrumbs, only for them to be the last, only for them to be killed, only for them. So it was a place of stagnation. It was a place of suffering. It was a place that was not good to actually stay at. And for me, this is an analogy or an example of what stagnation really, really, really looks like. And two things that it represented for me, because when you're stagnant, there are two things. It's either your mindset or the methodologies. Now, the mindset is what you think, what you perceive, the ideas that you have. And sometimes when you say, oh, I am dead, oh, I can't move past this, oh, I mean, this is too hard. And sometimes you procrastinate. And sometimes, so you see, the mindset is so crucial in getting you unstuck or delaying you and taking long in the suffering and the stagnation of your life. Okay. And then number two, our competences or the methodologies that we do, that we use. Because if I used a different methodology, let me say, for example, between the year 15 and maybe 20, I applied different things in my life, because why? I was staying in my parents' house and everything was the same. Eat, go to church, go to school, and, you know, that was the methodology then. And then I get out of get out of school, I can't go to campus, and you know, I'm stuck in life, and I needed to employ a different methodology. I could not stay in my parents' house, but just put my hands down and say, you know what, let me just look cute and wait for a man to come and marry me off. I decided and say, you know what, now I have to branch off into business. I must go to the village. I must do so, because if I had stayed long, let me tell you, people, when the devil can take advantage of your stagnation period, and the devil will make you do blunders and do mistakes that you will forever regret. Just imagine a girl. I told you I grew up big, I grew up huge, I grew up tall, and so every man that looked at me looked at a girl that was, I mean, marriage age, and they could marry me off. And I think I've said it so many times that while most of them were coming in from the front door, I was getting out the back door, either going for rehearsals at church or going somewhere or just going around the village, because I didn't want to meet them, because most of them were asking for my hand in marriage. Most of them were writing letters to my mother. Most of them were whispering in her ears. And in my life, I said, not on my watch. I am never, not at this time. I said not at this time. But just imagine if at that time I had just blundered in that moment of stagnation. I don't have school fees to go on with studies, and I don't have business to go to. I am just there. That means by now I don't know, I would have given birth to children with different men that I even had no business giving birth to. I know that I took way longer in my preparation time in getting stagnant and getting unstuck and deciding what my life was all about. I know I took longer, but I am so glad that I took longer, because when I got to the time of me getting married, I got married to my best friend, given birth to my children that I really love and we can take care of. And not just to brag, but to show you that you can go through a stagnation and plateauing. You can make choices to get out of, to do different, to apply different methodologies and different mindsets, and you can actually get unstuck and continue with your life. Okay, so I need you to know, just like I said, that Egypt represents mindsets, okay, ways of thinking and methodologies, which like are patterns and behaviors, and some of us are repeating them, that are producing seasons of stagnation and suffering. I want you to ask yourself, do you have these mindsets? I want you to look at your life, because part of how you get out of stagnation is you have to admit that, yes, I'm in my stagnant phase, okay? And if this is a stagnant phase, that means there are mindsets that I'm employing or that I'm deploying, and there are competences or methodologies that are behaviors. There is a way I am behaving that is producing a season of stagnation and suffering. So that means we cannot point at anyone else to get us unstuck. We cannot point to anyone else to get to rescue us. We cannot, when you're going through a phase of stagnation, you are the one to look for the help. And sometimes the mindset can be changed when you have a mentor, when you have a coach, when you have a pastor, when you have someone who can speak into your life, okay? And because mindsets can be rewired, they can change. And you're like, you know what, how I used to survive then is not how I'm going to survive now. Or if I was used to surviving, that does not apply to a thriving season of my life. So that means you need someone to speak into your life. You need to have a consultation, to have a sit down, a proper sit down, and be able to map out the life and the trajectory of your life, okay? So if it's the methodologies or the patterns and the behaviors, the things that you have been doing that are not adding up, because I want us to ask ourselves, how do you tell when you are actually stagnant? How do you tell when you're stagnant? Because most of the times, apart from me saying that there is no activity, there is no development, there is no, there is no movement, there is no, as in it's just a boring place, a place of being stuck and feeling stuck, okay? But there is us, some of us procrastinate when we're in a moment of stagnation. You're putting off your self-rescue, or you're putting off your growth. Like, you know what, I can do it next month. I can do it next month. So we are prolonging the season of stagnation. And you can be stagnant in having, for example, some of us, we get some money and we feel we have arrived, and then you become stagnant. So that means that money is not multiplying, because how you actually sustain money, you must earn it, you must be able to grow it, and you must be able to invest it. You must be able to as in, it goes through the phases. But some of us, when you get employed and you paid some money, then you're thinking, this is it, okay? I'm just going to rent the most expensive apartment, and then I'm going to have my friends and hang out every night. So you make decisions or methodologies that you apply and behaviors that you apply that actually keep you stuck, okay? And some of us were like, you know what, I will do that later. They tell you, oh, investment, or they tell you, but buy assets, don't buy liabilities. No, I will do that later. I still have a lot of time. We all don't have a lot of time. We don't know what tomorrow holds. We have today, and we might as well embrace today and be able to do the things that we need to do today, okay? So stagnation, that is a place I don't wish for anyone, not even my worst enemy, okay? And you can be stuck. So many of us think that we do certain bad things, and those are the things that get us stuck. I will tell you for a fact that bad decisions can make you stuck. Bad financial decisions can make you stuck and take you to a stagnation. Bad marriage decisions can make you stagnant. Bad career decisions can make you stagnant. Like, so many bad decisions can make you stagnant. But I will tell you the truth that sometimes you can get stagnant not because of a bad decision. Sometimes you can get stagnant because there is another gear that you're supposed to engage and that you have not engaged. Maybe you've not networked, you've not reached out, you've not asked yourself, what more can I do? What better can I do? You have not dreamt new dreams. You have walked with the same dreams for the longest time. So it's not that you made a bad decision. No, it's because you have just not oiled your wheels. You've not had better dreams. You've not asked yourself, what more can I do? You have not exposed yourself more. So that also happens, okay? And sometimes yes, God can help us through our bad decisions. I remember there's a time I was speaking at Hold My Hand, and I say that I know that God counts on us to make good decisions, because good decisions is how we partner with God in order to accelerate our lives. So you realize that stagnation is the opposite of acceleration. I believe in acceleration. I believe in growth. I believe in expansion. I believe in evolving. None of that can happen, however, if you are in a stagnation phase. And I remember there's a time I said that even when we make a bad decision, because not all decisions we're going to make are going to be good, our God is gracious enough to actually redeem us or to help us even through the bad decisions. It doesn't mean that it is the end of it all. He's not going to work with us. He's not going to partner with us. No. He lets you learn from your decision, and sometimes you will even face the consequences of your decision, but he will always give you a second chance and a third chance and a fifth chance to make sure that you get it better this time round, okay? So what happens is I have seen God deliver me not just from sin, not just from bad decisions, but also to deliver me from being stuck. To deliver me from being stuck, where you are stuck and you hear a word, where you are stuck and someone speaks into your life, where you are stuck and you hear the conviction on your heart, where you are stuck and you read a word, where you are stuck and you feel delivered from that cycle or from that season of your life because of just one word. And I think the saying goes that one word to the wise is always enough. Let me tell you, some of us don't need a lot. We don't need night prayers, or we don't need to fast for 40 days, or we don't. There are things that need those no's, because there is where I say that certain things cannot go without prayer and fasting. But let me tell you, sometimes it takes one word to unlock you. Sometimes it takes one word to take you out of the stagnation phase. Sometimes it takes one word to change your mindset. It takes one word to change your behaviors or your methodologies and what you have been doing. And so I hope that we can chance on that and be able to do some of the things that we really need to do, okay? And sometimes, just like I say, that our mindset is not bad, because you can say, maybe it's because of the wrong mindsets. No, I want to correct that, because remember, this is closer to home. This is what I have gone through. That sometimes it's not even about you having bad mindsets, but sometimes it's because that kind of mindset is no longer relevant for that level where you are or the level that you're going to. I hope that can sink in. That it's not because you have a bad mindset. No, because you have good thoughts, because you've been working at this and you know how it has worked. Just imagine, let me just give an example as we get into the break, that you've been used to, analog things, doing things, so you have good mindsets, you've been doing your things, but now there's a digital era that has come in, okay? But that means the methodologies that you used to do back then, or the mindset that you had back then, is not going to apply to the analog mindset is not going to apply to the digital mindset. That means you renew your mind, okay? You renew your mindset. That means you renew your methodologies. That is why we have the short courses where people go back and they're like, you know what? I want a refresher course. I want to be able to, you know, to get competent in this. How accounting was done 20 years ago is not how accounting is done. Yes, I know the basics and the foundations can be the same, but there is more to it that has been made easy. The softwares that have been created. So you realize that the mindset of a person who did accounting 30 years ago, when they come to the field right now, those methodologies are dead and those mindsets are dead. And now they need to renew, they need to refresh, and they need to apply new methodologies that are going with or are in sync with this generation, with this era, with the digital world and everything that is happening. So many of us feel stuck because we are transitioning from one end to another, and we don't have the methodologies, we don't have the mindsets that can be able to sustain the new era that we are getting into. But that means competences can be acquired, skills can be acquired, mindsets can be changed, and behaviors can be altered in order to get, for as long as you come to notice and say this is irrelevant, then you know, okay, now I must get what is relevant for this season and for me to get unstuck and go to the next level. Okay, let's take this short break. When we get back, we start right there.
Spirit TV, a place for you.
Did you know that you can acquire a skill in less than 3 months? Dynamic Media School skills you in TV and radio presenting, motion graphics, graphics designing, control room management, show production, audio production, confidence building, lighting and videography, personal branding, social media management, cinematography, video editing, marketing and sales, and effective communication. This is designed to provide practical skills and hands-on experience with the focus on developing critical thinking, research, and communication skills. You will have access to high-quality learning materials, including online lectures and other resources, as well as a dedicated team of facilitators and influencers who are available to assist you with any questions or concerns that you might have. Enroll today. Call 0702 021 834 or WhatsApp 0760 881 331. Dynamic Media School is an excellent choice for anyone looking to start or advance their career in this exciting and dynamic field.